War, a phenomenon as old as civilization itself, has long been regarded with a mixture of fear, reverence, and condemnation. It brings destruction, loss of life, and untold suffering. Yet paradoxically, war is often described as a necessary evil, a grim but sometimes unavoidable path to peace, justice, or survival. This video explores the idea of war as a necessary evil, examining the ethical, political, and historical dimensions of this claim. War is inherently violent. It disrupts societies, economies, and human lives on a massive scale. Civilian casualties, displacement, trauma, and infrastructure collapse are common outcomes. Ethically, war stands in stark contrast to humanity's highest values: peace, compassion, and cooperation. However, despite its devastating consequences, history is replete with instances where war has been deemed unavoidable or even justifiable. War has also been a means of achieving justice or ending oppression. For example, the American Civil War, though catastrophic, led to the abolition of slavery in the United States. The war was not fought merely for territory or power, but was driven by a moral imperative to end a deeply unjust system. In this sense, war served as a tragic but effective instrument of social transformation. One of the most cited justifications for war is self-defense. When a nation is attacked, it often has no choice but to retaliate or defend itself to protect its sovereignty and people. World War II is frequently referenced in this context. The Allied powers' engagement in war against Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan was driven by the urgent need to halt aggression, genocide, and expansionism. In such cases, war becomes a necessary response to evil, not because it is good, but because the alternative, submission or inaction, is worse. Labeling war as a necessary evil raises profound ethical questions. Can evil ever be necessary? The term suggests a moral compromise, that in some situations, war may be the lesser of two evils. Just war theory, developed by philosophers such as Augustine and Aquinas, attempts to address this dilemma by establishing criteria for when war is morally justifiable, such as just cause, proportionality, and last resort. These principles aim to limit war's destructiveness while recognizing its occasional necessity. Despite instances where war has led to positive outcomes, it should never be glorified or pursued lightly. Diplomacy, economic sanctions, and international cooperation are often more effective and humane tools for resolving conflicts. The existence of the United Nations and other international bodies is testament to humanity's recognition that war should be the last resort. When these mechanisms fail, however, and when faced with existential threats or gross violations of human rights, war may still become the only viable response. War, with all its horrors, remains an enduring part of the human condition. To call it a necessary evil is not to endorse it, but to acknowledge the complex reality in which moral choices are rarely black and white. While peace is always the ideal, history teaches us that war can sometimes be the only path to secure it. Thus, the challenge for humanity is not to eliminate war entirely, perhaps an impossible task, but to minimize its occurrence, mitigate its effects, and ensure it is waged only when absolutely necessary, in the service of a just and lasting peace.